Welcome to Confluence. We're excited you're here. We are excited that this is our first opportunity to be back in person at the historic DeSoto Theater. What this means for us after a year of a pandemic and just seeing the resiliency and the commitment of our business leaders and those entrepreneur startups and our high school leadership program and leadership Rome participants. We welcome you, and we just are excited that you're here today, that you can sit back and hear innovative ideas and just be inspired by what is happening all around us. But most of all, it's just a time for us to come together and showcase Rome and Floyd County and the best we have to offer. We are at a point in our community where we're seeing growth of small business, we're seeing expansions, and it's just exciting to be in Rome and Floyd County right now. So please join with me, sit back, relax, be inspired. This is a give and take, so there will be a time for questions, and we hope you'll engage with our speakers. And we're just, again, thank you for being here today. It is my pleasure to get to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for this morning. And I consider him a friend, and I consider him a mentor. He has meant so much to me personally and to our organization. Internationally acclaimed entrepreneur, speaker, trainer, and life coach, Steve Dennis has shared the stage with such personal development masters as John Maxwell, Jack Canfield. Steve is a member of the John Maxwell team, an elite group of certified coaches and communicators mentored by the #1 leadership expert in the world and New York Times best-selling author John Maxwell. A captivating speaker, Steve motivates listeners through the use of stories. Steve's examples promote a unique learning environment for his audience, as you're going to get to see that today. Steve trains and motivates with an emphasis on strengthening leaders and helping them to maximize their skills and effectiveness and identify the potential in the individual. He's certainly done that for me, and he's certainly done that for our organization. He digs deep and identifies the potential in people. He believes that in order to build businesses, you must first build people. Steve's seminars are focused on teaching, while his workshop format offers both teaching and interactive exercises, powerfully delivered for changing results. We welcome to the stage Mr. Steve Dennis.
Thank you, Jenny, and good morning, everyone. Oh, let's try that again. Good morning, everyone. Are you glad to be here today? Let me tell you why. Anytime you and I can be inside of a growth environment, it is an opportunity to experience change. So we want to welcome you and thank you so much for being a part of this conference today. A very special shout out to those who are watching by way of Zoom. Thank you guys so much for being with us today as well. And just know that the same energy that we're experiencing here in person, you get a chance to also experience that as well through Zoom. So thank you so much. And we know that today is going to be a turnaround day for you. I want to give a couple of instructions right quick, okay? Because we have different speakers set up today. And anytime I'm listening to speakers, I carry this particular acronym with me when I'm taking my notes. Now, for me, I'm old school. I will be writing my notes. I won't be placing them in my phone. But however you choose to take your notes, I use the acronym ACT, A-C-T. And the purpose, the A stands for, what am I hearing from the speaker that I need to apply to my life or my business? The C, what is it I need to change in my life or my business? And then the T, which I love the T because the T lightens up the load a little bit. The T is something that you can take and transfer or teach to somebody else, okay? So hopefully that'll help today with your note-taking capacity today, because we're going to have a wonderful time, great speakers lined up for us, and we're just excited to be here. Can you tell I'm excited to be here? I hope you are as well, okay? Because we're in a growth environment. In fact, say it with me. Today is a day I choose to grow. Right on, okay? All right, okay, here we go. Let's get started. And let me pull out my super duper helpers here, my wonderful companion. Here we go. All right. So today I would love to introduce to you, again, just so excited about being here, and I'm surrounded around friends and family members today, okay? So would you help me to welcome to the stage our mayor and my good friend, Craig McDaniel.
Thank you, Steve. I want to be able to bottle his enthusiasm and sell it. And that's better than selling real estate, I promise you. Steve, thank you for everything you do. I want to welcome everyone to the best city in America, the best community, represented by the Floyd Chamber. I'm a native. I've been here for, June will be 68 years. And it is a tremendous place to live. It's a tremendous place to raise a family. The quality of life that we have here is unmatchable. And so much of that credit goes to the Floyd Chamber. The Confluence event that we're having here started off at the Chamber many years ago with a conversation, I think, between Frank Barron and Dr. Paul Ferguson and Al Hodge. I think Dr. Scott Colley was involved in it. The idea was to bring people together to talk about the jobs that did not exist then, but the jobs that might exist in the future. And from that, through the hard work of the Chamber, we started having this annual event called SpecTech. Later, it became Confluence. The idea of Confluence, if you know the geography of Rome, we were built where two rivers come together to form the Coosa River. Rome was built at the confluence of the Coosa River. And so that idea, Confluence, is so fitting for this community and what has happened since 1836, I think it was, and what especially has happened just in the last 25 or 30 years, the growth that we're seeing. I was talking to Doug Walker earlier about the census report. By the end of this month, we're going to get our census numbers. And I have a feeling that we're going to show some growth that many of us never imagined. Now, it takes people actually replying to the census, but I sell real estate for a living, and I can tell you we've got a housing crisis right now, and you don't have a housing shortage, single family and multifamily, if you don't have people moving in. And I think we're going to see some really good things, and I think we're headed for some growth in this community that many of us would never have imagined. And it's good to be a part of that, and I want to give a great deal of that credit to the Floyd Chamber and the work that they do. I'm honored today to have the opportunity to introduce our first speaker. I met Curtis Morley earlier today. He is the author of The Entrepreneur's Paradox and director of the Keynote Initiative on Technology at the University of Utah. He is a Utah native. Curtis Morley is a 5-time entrepreneur, mentor, coach, educator, thought leader, patent holder, and author of the #1 new release bestseller, The Entrepreneur's Paradox. Curtis has built companies achieving 20 times growth and acquired 96 of the Fortune 100 as clients. He's been Entrepreneur of the Year, 40 Under 40, and Inc. 500 of 5,000 6 times, including being named to the Hall of Fame. He has been heard on over 1,000 radio programs by millions of people around the country. Curtis is a Forbes contributor and had a goal of helping 1 million entrepreneurs find the success they are looking for. Curtis is a sought-after speaker and has presented at events around the globe, including Japan, New Zealand, Portugal, United Kingdom, and China. And I saw something yesterday about Kilimanjaro. He may mention that. Curtis has 5 children and 2 grandchildren. Outside of business, Curtis loves to compete in marathons, Ironman competitions, and relay races. He has a passion for music, singing, playing, and songwriting. And one of his favorite things is to sit outside on a hot summer night playing in sync with a chorus of crickets in his backyard. I'd love to see him do that. That'd be fun to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rome, Curtis Morley.
I am so excited to be here today. I was able to come in last night and before going to dinner with Thomas and Jeanne, take a run along the river. And this is amazingly beautiful city. So thank you for having me. I'm really excited. And for everyone that registered, you're going to actually get a copy of the book, which is great. In the book, we talk about the 16 pitfalls that every entrepreneur gets into when they start a business. Today, though, we're going to be talking about two things, and those two things are, my presentation clicker will work. Here we go. Oh, looks like we're a little bit ahead. There we go. So you're going to walk away with two things: an actionable direction for you and your company, and a proven method to change fear into power. And in order for that to happen, I'm actually going to ask of you to give me something. I know this is not typical in a presentation, but I need you to give me something. Three things, actually. The three things I need you to give to me are vulnerability, honesty, and a new clicker. And accountability. There we go. Vulnerability, honesty, and accountability. Will you do that for me? Will you give me that today? And when I say vulnerability, I do mean vulnerability because I'm actually going to ask you to participate. I'm going to ask you to be part of the presentation, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So let's dive in. February 9th, 2020, at exactly 1 a.m., Abdul came into our hut, shook us awake, and said it's time. I left the warmth of my sleeping bag and looked around with bleary eyes to see my companions doing the same thing, putting on layer after layer, until eventually we had about 5 layers on, including ski coat, ski pants, thick gloves, boots, gaiters, hat, and headlamps. And typically in the southern hemisphere, you don't need winter gear in February because of the inverted seasons. It's their summertime. But we had traversed over 20 miles to get to where we were at base camp of Kilimanjaro. And as we were donning on our winter gear, after only 3 hours of sleep, we had gotten there, eaten dinner, gone to bed 3 hours before, after a 22-mile hike over 3 days. We put on our headlamps and walked out into the cold. And the hike prior went through 5 climactic zones. So we started in shorts and sandals, literally. We were in a tropical rainforest. We went through the heather zone, the moorland zone, the desert on the mountain, and finally, at base camp at 15,551 feet, we were ready to enter the Arctic tundra. The reason we were wearing this clothing was because at the summit, we would be in -4 degrees, meaning 36 degrees below freezing. And we started our journey. From base camp at 15,500 feet to the top of Kilimanjaro is almost 4,000 feet of elevation gain. If we put that in perspective, right now we're just over 600 feet. From sea level to where we are right now is 600 feet. From base camp to the summit is almost 4,000 in the distance of 2.28 miles. And to put that in perspective, 2.28 miles, 4,000 feet of elevation. We had to start at 1 a.m. so that we could make it to the top and back down before the next night. So almost 24 hours to go just about 5 miles. just under 5 miles. Think about that. Almost 24 hours to go about 5 miles. And we took our poles, we had our headlamps blazing, and we started up the mountain. And the day before, as we approached the face, the summit, we noticed that there were switchbacks going up the mountain. What we didn't realize was that inside the switchbacks were switchbacks. It was that steep. We took our poles, and with elevation depriving us of air, we planted a pole, took a step, and we took a breath. Another step, another breath. Another step, another breath. And we made our way up the mountain with Simon and the other guides, Abdul, Simon, all of the guides that took us up, Lucas. And they have a saying on the mountain. They say, pole, 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 pole to the top, which means slowly, slowly to the top. One step, one breath, pole, pole to the top. We continue to climb, and as we did, the world seemed to get a little bit darker. The moon wasn't out. There was no moon that night. The world seemed to get a little darker, a little bit colder, and we knew that today was the day that we were going to achieve a lifelong goal. Today was the day we were going to do something amazing. But it got darker, and it got colder, and there's a phenomenon that right before the sun is when it gets darkest and coldest. And the previous picture was an icicle. We made it halfway up the summit, and we stopped in the ice cave. That's what I call it. I don't know if it actually has a name. It was more of a dent in the rock that would prevent us from the wind that was blowing fiercely. And when we stopped, Simon said, "No one sit down, no one sit down," because if you sit down, you don't get back up. And we sat, half of the crew sat, and the other half of us were trying to literally lift them. And we heard words like, "What was I thinking? I'm not a mountain climber. Oh man, I should have trained for this better. I can't breathe. What's going on?" And that was right as it was getting darker, right as it was getting colder. And then this happened. As we were about 17,000 feet, it started as just a slit. And we were so high, we could actually see the curvature of the earth. We could actually see the earth bend on the horizon. And then the sun poked through and shone its beautiful light and gave us all hope again. It gave us all the courage and the strength to keep going, and we pushed forward. And we made it to the first point. There's actually 3 summits on Kilimanjaro. The first is Gilman's Point, and you noticed 18,652 feet right up here. Gilman's Point was what they thought was originally the summit. Then as geography and expeditions continue, they found that it wasn't. It was actually right up here is the second summit, which they thought was the final summit. And as we continued along the crater of the largest freestanding mountain in the world, that's the final summit, which is Uhuru Peak. So this is our second summit, and this is the 80-foot glacier near the top. And finally we made it. This is one of my guides. I love this man right here. And we had a goal. We had a mission. We had a purpose. We had a dream. And our goal was to get here. Actually, that's Gilman's Point. As you walk around, this is where the final summit is. But we traversed up this face to get to the top of Kilimanjaro. And the reason I share this story is because in life and in business, especially in business, you need to know where you're going. And this is that vulnerability part I talked about, so love your interaction here. Google Maps needs two things to navigate. What are those two things? Excellent, where you're at and where you're going. Exactly. So here's where I landed. I wanted to make it up to the DeSoto Theater, and so Google Maps needed that. What happens if you don't have a GPS? Can Google Maps get you to where you're going? No, it can't. And so you need these two things. You need to know where you are, and you need to know where you want to be. So by raise of hands, how many people are business owners here? Awesome. Awesome. How many are future business owners? Okay, we got a couple of those. How many work in the corporate space? Excellent. That should be everybody. So if you didn't raise your hand, we'll need to figure that out. But this is what you need to know in order to get to a destination. You need to have a very honest assessment of where you are. And number two, you need to know where you're going. And so the question for you is, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? What is your Kilimanjaro? And for all the entrepreneurs here, all of the startup companies, let me ask you this. And it doesn't matter, actually, if you're in corporate, if you're going to be a future entrepreneur someday. Let me ask you this. Do you have a goal? Who thinks they have a goal? This is a trick question. Okay, great. We've got somebody that raised their hand. Do you have a goal, or do you have a wish, or a hope, or a dream? Would you mind sharing your goal? Excellent. Tell me your name. Okay. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and willing to share that with us. Really appreciate that. So the reason I ask about is it a goal versus a wish, dream, or hope is because there's actually a formula to success. There's an actual formula to success in business. And to start, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're somebody that's creating a business, there's only 3 mountain ranges you can climb. And when I had this realization in the first of 5 of my companies, I thought, oh, here I was thinking there's all of this amazing business I can do, but really there's only 3 mountain ranges that I can climb. Think about this. The one mountain range is a lifestyle business. The second is a buyer be bought strategy. And the third is an IPO. Those are really the only mountain ranges you can achieve. You can either have a lifestyle business, something that supports the way you're living, something that you enjoy doing, something that typically doesn't get too big. It can. I've seen lifestyle businesses get in the $10 and $20 million range. But it's something that you just enjoy doing. You don't have any big aspirations of growing it huge. The second one is an acquisition strategy or a merger. So the buyer be bought mountain range. And finally is the IPO. So with that in mind, now where's your goal? Which mountain range are you going to climb? Are you going to create a lifestyle business? Are you going to create a company that can buy other companies or be bought in an acquisition? Or are you going to head for an IPO? And let's take a look at the success formula. I love this quote by Lewis Carroll. If you don't know where you're going, any road will do. To put our voyage of the climb to Kilimanjaro in perspective, the entire trip is 44 miles. We did it in 5 days, so 3.5 days up, day and a half down. And the the mountain, like I said, it's the largest freestanding mountain in the world, so it's one gigantic volcano. And at the summit, 19,341 feet, to put that in perspective, that's about 600 feet lower than the cruising altitude of the jet that I took to get to here. It's high. It's really high. And if I didn't know that I wanted to get here, it would be really easy to wander around the foothills. It would be really, really easy to wander around the foothills because there's hundreds of miles, maybe even thousands of miles from the very base of the volcano up to the peak. It would be super easy just to wander, just to mill around without any real excitement or real direction. So, as promised, you're going to get two things today. The first is a solid objective of where you're going. And let me show what happens when you don't know where you're going. So this is the Beijing Marathon, and watch the two guys in front as they run. They're vying for the first and second spot. One's from Ethiopia, one's from, I forgot where the other guy is. And pay attention right here. Watch this guy. There he is. Wait, guys! No, wrong way. Oh, that hurts. Oh. And number 3 comes in for the win. Poor guys. Poor guys. Not knowing where you're going can have pretty dramatic effects. And in this case, the winner and even second place lost the race because they didn't know where they were going. So let's do that now. Let's figure out where you're going. Here we go. This is what I call the success formula. In business, when I consult and mentor and coach companies, a lot of companies say, I've got a goal. And I say, okay, what's your goal? And I trained a video software company that said, what's your goal? He said, I want to make really cool stuff. I said, awesome. What's your business goal? He said, I want to make really cool stuff. And I said, okay, let's look at what that means for your business. And so I would say that wasn't necessarily a goal. That was something that he loved to wake up every morning and do. So let's go through the success formula. The success formula looks like this. So everybody grab your phone, grab a notebook, grab whatever you're doing, or whatever you have to write something down. So with your company, the number one piece, there's 4 parts to this. The number 1 part is how much? What is your revenue goal? Is it 2 million? Is it 5 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 100 million? Where do you want to take your company? What is your revenue goal? I'll give you just a second to think about that. Where do you want to get to? Where is your summit? What is your peak? Number 2 is by when. When do you want to hit the summit? For us, it was critical to know a very specific day when we were going to summit because we had to check weather patterns. It was very important to understand where we were going and when we were going to get there. And so on this one, on number 2, I don't want you to say 2030. I want you to say June 1st, 2030. I want you to pick a date off the calendar that you're going to hit this goal, that you're going to hit the how much by. I want you to do it and say, when am I going to hit that goal? The third step is for what? So when you hit that revenue goal, when you achieve that on that date, what's going to happen? If you're a lifestyle company, you could pay off your house. You could buy that yacht you've been dreaming of. You could do many things. If you're a buy or be bought strategy, then you're going to want your event to be that we get acquired. And how much you're going to get acquired for. What's the multiple that you're going to be bought for? Is it 1.5? Is it 6 times EBITDA? What is that? And finally is the why. Why are you doing this? Think about that question. You're a business owner. Why do you want to achieve these goals? Why do you get up in the morning? Is it to provide for your family? Is it to, do you have a goal of building an orphanage in Mexico? What good are you going to do in the world? What is your why? What is inside of you that drives you? Where's your passion? How much, by when, for what, and why? And this is an infographic that I'm going to give you today. So since you all have your phones out, go ahead and scan this QR code with your phone. And you'll be able to, with this QR code, you'll be able to download that infographic that walks you through and gives you the ability to reverse engineer the goal. So when you hit that $20 million mark, then what does that look like as far as number of employees, number of offices, number of products, how many products are sold in a year? It's really important to reverse engineer the goal. Just like when we were climbing Kilimanjaro, we needed to reverse engineer the trip so we knew what equipment to take with us. We had to have a change of clothes for 5 different climactic zones. We had to have the right equipment so that if we did get to the top and we needed oxygen, we had an oxygen tank. It's important to know when you're climbing your mountain what it's going to look like when you get to the top. So, go ahead and download this. And actually, Jeanne and I were talking last night about her goals for the chamber. And she was talking about how much she loves Rome, Floyd, how much she absolutely loves this community, the business people here. It's incredible. And so what we agreed to is, along with the infographic that you can paste on your wall with your goal, I'm actually going to do 20 free consultations with anyone that's attending. So for your businesses, and that goes for students as well, sign up and we can do some consultations on a one-on-one basis. So go ahead and take that, reverse engineer the goal. All right. Thank you for being vulnerable. Do you mind being vulnerable again? All right, let's go through the steps. So, how much? 5 million in revenue? Excellent. By when? Okay, 5 years. What day in 5 years? January 1st, 2026. Okay. January 1st, 2026. Right? Okay. Then for what? Okay. So what event is going to happen? Are you going to take the entire company on a cruise? Are you going to get acquired? Are you going to set up college funds for the kids? What's going to happen when you reach that? Awesome. That's a great one. So once you hit that goal, then it's time to retire. And then the why. Why are you doing this? Excellent. Excellent. So, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but something magical just happened. And I'm actually going to ask every single one of you to do the same thing. Something magical just happened right here, right now, in the DeSoto Theater, Rome, Georgia. You put your goal out into the universe. You said it out loud, and we've got all of these people that heard it. And now, something is going to happen. Something very magical. It just happened. And that is that the universe just conspired to be on your side. The universe is saying, you know what? I'm going to help you out with this. So what I'm going to ask every single one of you to do as well is you've got your goal. I want you to text somebody right now your goal. Someone you trust, someone that you feel comfortable with. I want you to right now say, in my company, and it doesn't even for those of you that work in the corporate space, it could be your division. You know, what is your revenue goal for your division? When is it going to happen? I want you to, right now, go ahead and text your goal. I want you to put it out into the universe and have someone besides you hear your goal. So go ahead, spend just a minute, and I want you to text that goal. You don't have to because you shared it with all of us. It's already out. It's already out. Nice job. Well done. I see the smile on your face. That's excellent. All right. While you're texting, I'm going to share a little bit about Kylie Chen. Kylie Chen is one of my favorite clients and one of my favorite young entrepreneurs. She is 26 years old, and she runs a global expedition company. She was the one that took me to the top of Kilimanjaro and will be taking me back in October. We're going to do a summit on the summit where taking a small group of about 12 business owners to the top of Kilimanjaro again. And you think about global expedition travel, and then you think about the pandemic, and you think, oh dear, what is one of the biggest hits of any business out there? It's travel. Kylie's business went from a multi-million-dollar business to zero in 1 month. In 1 month. It wasn't one client, it wasn't 2 clients, it wasn't 5 or 10 clients, it was zero. Multi-million-dollar business to zero in 1 month. And I'm going to share a little more about what Kylie did after that. But part of what she did was she said, not only is my business shut down, but all of the people I contract with around the world, they're out of work now. And she said, I can't have that. I've got to do something about this. I've got to make a difference. So this blue dress that she's wearing, she started contracting with all of these people around the globe in these third world countries like Tanzania and Morocco and all of these places around the world, Indonesia. And she created a second company called Adventure Dress. And this is one of the adventure dresses. So it's actually an expedition dress you can wear as you're hiking, climbing, having fun all over the world, walking through the blue city of Morocco, whatever it is. Kylie said, Curtis, I have no idea how to run a clothing company. I do travel. I have no idea. Help me. And so I said, okay, we need you to meet 2 people. One is Cindy Lowry, and the other is Rachel Nilsson. Cindy created a company called Baby Bling, and she does retail baby clothing, super cute bows, all sorts of things. And Rachel Nilsson. I had lost Cindy's contact information and had no way of getting a hold of her. And Rachel, we had been a part of different awards ceremonies and different things, but I've actually never met her. She created a company called Rags to Rach's, where she does outfits for moms and kids or parents and kids. Super cute, just amazing. And this was on a Thursday when I talked to Kylie, and I said, Kylie, this is our goal. We're going to put it out into the universe. We're going to meet with Cindy Lowry and Rachel Nilsson. And the next day, Friday night, I was at a birthday party in a teepee, don't ask. And who would be in the teepee with me? But Cindy Lowry happened to be sitting on the other side of the teepee. The following day, I decided to climb one of the mountains in Utah. And at the summit of the mountain, there we go, there were 3 ladies that we happened to meet, and we had taken sleds up the mountain, and we're going to sled down, and they joined us. And one of those ladies was Rachel Nilsson, who I had never met before. And they both agreed to meet with Kylie so that she could get her adventure dress company up and running. The universe will conspire to be on your side. You've put it out there. You've all sent a text message now to say, this is my goal, this is what I'm dedicated to, this is the commitment I'm making. But not only will the universe conspire to be on your side, but something else happens. Something else amazing happens right here in your brain. The best problem-solving computer in the world lives inside your cranium. Your brain is specifically built to solve problems. And what did you just do? You just gave it a problem that you need to figure out how to do $5 million in revenue by January 1st, 2026, so that you can retire and then work on some philanthropic endeavors. That's the problem you just gave your brain. And that's awesome. That's so awesome. Because I'll show you an example of why. Take a look at this. There's the numbers 1 through 60 here, and you're going to want to pay particular attention. I'm going to give you 60 seconds, and I want you to find in sequence 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to find in sequence the numbers 1 through 60. On your marks, get set, go. Step back so you don't get in your way. When you're done, raise your hand. And we're a fourth of the way through. No pressure. No pressure. Halfway. Keep going, keep going. Getting close. Are they done? 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. All right, who made it? Who got all 60? Wait, you didn't get 60? All right. Who got 10? Who got 10? Who got 15? 20? 25? 30? Oh, okay, somewhere between two. Oh, wait. We got 2 guys right here. What did you guys get? You got to 50? Dang, what'd you get? 52. Wow, very impressive. This is your business before what we just did. This is your business before we had that concrete goal where your brain is now automatically working for you to achieve that goal. Let's do this exercise one more time, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. And the first one to hit that is going to be rewarded. So, first person to hit 60. We're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to do it with a problem-solving brain. Give you just 3 seconds to figure out what's going on here. All right, here we go. Soon as you hit 60, I want you to raise your hand. On your marks, get set, go. I see the fingers going. Oh, we got our first person. Nice job. Keep going. Keep your hand raised. Very nice. Number 2, number 3, number 4. I need to stop saying numbers. Throw you off. 5. Here we go. We got another. Excellent. Keep going. We got one over there. Got one there. Excellent. 2 more. You've still got 10 seconds left. All right, there's some more. Excellent. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, we raise the house lights? I'm coming over here. Congratulations. You are the recipient of a brand new crisp $20 bill. Way to go. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. Okay, everybody that got to 60, raise your hand. Wow, look at that. Look at the difference here. I'm going to just pick on you. Can I pick on you? Be vulnerable. What did you get the first time? 18. From 18 to 60. Can you see the difference? You saw the pattern. What we did when we created a goal, what we did when we set that objective, is that we told your brain, start finding the patterns. That's exactly what we did. And you went from 18 to 60. That's a huge jump. Congratulations. That's amazing. When I work with companies, this is the first thing we do, is we create our goal. We find our summit. And when we do find our summit, this starts to happen. And exactly your result is what happens. Companies go like this, and they slowly grow and they slowly build. And then when they say, you know what? I'm done with the slow. It's time. It's time for me to get up and say, I'm going to start going up this summit. It's no longer enough to wander around in the foothills. I'm going up this summit. And this is Andrew and Sean. This is Andrew civilly. That's Sean civilly. That's me on a unicorn. Yes, they had to hold me up. Or a unicorn, unicycle. There is another picture of me on a unicorn, but we're not showing you that one. Andrew and Sean were 2 brothers. Andrew had a phenomenal corporate job in Chase Bank as their e-learning manager. Sean was doing the same thing for Wendy's Corporation, and they said, why don't we do this on our own? And they literally started a basement business. And when I say basement business, I mean they went to Home Depot, got giant sheets of plastic to hang from the rafters of their unfinished basement, and that was their dividers for their office. Like, it's an absolute basement business. And Andrew and Sean asked me to help them to stop wandering around the hills, and this is the first thing we did. And they set a goal, a very specific goal of, we will hit this revenue number with this valuation, with this profitability by this date. This is when I found them. 2 brothers. Notice the logo behind. They're wearing some shirts and some Vibram shoes. Kind of fun. But literally 2 brothers. That was the entire company. This is, and I apologize, the transition didn't quite work, but this picture is about 8 times this long. This is the exact same trade show, and there's thousands of people surrounding their booth cheering. Thousands. They wandered. They went along the hills like this, and then they said, it's time to climb this summit. They made the commitment, and they not only achieved it, but well exceeded it. So if you have just asked the universe for its help, you've just turned your brain into this problem-solving computer of how are we going to make $5 million in the next 5 years, which is very achievable, by the way. I'm excited for you. I'm so excited because I can't wait to see when you get there. Then why does the Bureau of Labor Statistics say that 30% of businesses go out of business? And that's in the first year. In the first 5 years, 50% of business. Isn't having a goal enough? Can't we just say, okay, I got my goal, I'm ready to go, hit the street running? Isn't that enough? Well, I'm a firm believer that those numbers are actually based on a false assumption. I'm a firm believer that companies don't fail. Entrepreneurs quit. Because any business with the proper business principles applied can succeed. Any business. Remember our friend Kylie? Well, her business went from multi-million dollars to zero in 1 month. And she could have said, you know what? The pandemic did me in. I'm throwing up my hands. There's nothing I can do. But she didn't. She created a second company with Adventure Dress. And then she said, let me think about this. People stopped traveling because of a virus. But did their desire to travel go away? Did the demand for exploration and that journey that comes with that excitement, did that go away? The answer was no. That didn't go away. It just moved. It just moved locations. The desire was there. The market demand was still there. All of that was still there. But she said, I'm not going to be beat by the pandemic. Instead, I'm going to create another company. And this is her. And Kylie created another company called Wander Camp. And Wander Camp addressed the need that moved from international travel and international expeditions to domestic. Because now, instead of people going around the world for these fun adventures, now they're staying in the United States and going to places like Zion's and Yellowstone and other things. And so she now has 200 glamping sites around the country and is doing as much business as she was doing abroad, domestically. And guess what happens when the pandemic is over? Now she's got 2 multi-million-dollar businesses. Companies don't fail, entrepreneurs quit, and Kylie made the choice to not quit. She made that choice. And here in town, Jeanne shared this with me, that Doug's Deli had about 30% of their business as catering. Well, if there's no events because of COVID, then there's no catering. And so what did they do? They created drive-through options and did the same thing. Companies don't fail, entrepreneurs quit, and Doug's Deli didn't quit. When I was starting my first company, it was right during the big bubble, 2000. And one of my friends, Reed Wright, yes, that's actually his name, but his middle name is not arithmetic. Thank you for laughing. He shared this with me. He said, Curtis, you know why everyone around us is out of business and we are still thriving? It's because we're too dumb to know when to quit. Yep. Who was that? Amen and hallelujah, brother. Yep. It's because we're too dumb to know when to quit. Your business can succeed. It can succeed in the middle of a pandemic. It can succeed outside of a pandemic. It's a matter of saying, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it takes, that indefatigable drive. And the second thing, the second question of why do businesses fail is because of this word right here. Fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear is not in truth. And Did you know there's only 2 innate fears that we're born with? Who knows what those 2 innate fears are? I'll give you a hint. It's not snakes or spiders. Failure? No. Falling. We've got number 1. Number 1 is falling. What's number 2? What's that? Loud sound. Did you read the study? Very nicely done. Way to go. If I had another $20, I'd give it to you. There's only 2 fears we're born with. They did a study in 1969 where they took small children and they produced the fears that we typically think are fears. Public speaking, snakes, spiders, all of these scary things. We're only born with 2 fears. The fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. That's it. Every other fear we have, we've learned. Think about that. Every fear besides 2, we've learned. The beauty of that, the thing that gets me excited about that statement, is that if we learned it, we can unlearn it. If every fear comes from something we've learned, that means we can reprogram our brains to say, no, I'm not going to have this fear anymore. My dear friend Richard Vass said, perplexing on the past produces pain. Fretting on the future fuels fear. Only the present provides peace and power. So I'm going to give you the second thing that I promised, which is a proven method to change fear into power. And there's one letter that can instantly change fear into power. Think about this statement, and actually, no, don't think about this statement. Don't think about it. Feel this statement. I'm going to say a couple of these statements that begin with what if, and I want you to pay attention to how you feel. I want you to pay attention to your body. I want you to pay attention to your chest. Listen to these statements. What if I fail? What if I have to lay off all of my employees? What if the economy goes to crap and we can't do anything about it? What if people figure out I don't actually have any idea what I'm doing? What if? What if? What if? How did that feel? How did that feel? I need somebody vulnerable. How did it feel? Very good. Awesome. That's not the typical response. Okay, I'm going to prove you wrong. I heard one more. Here we go. It feels what? It feels normal. Uh-oh. We need to talk afterwards. There was another response. How did it feel? Somebody said horrible. Who said horrible? Maybe it was normal. Did anybody feel this pressure and this tightness right here? Did you feel that as I was saying those what if statements? So here's the way to change fear into power, and it only takes one letter. And that letter is the letter S. Drop the F and add the S. Now pay attention to these statements and how these statements feel. What is my goal? What is in my power to change? What is my next step? What is inside me that gets me excited? What is something I can do today? Did you notice how that felt? Did you notice how empowering that was? Did you notice how that changed that fear into power? My favorite Stoic, Seneca, said this: we suffer more in imagination than in reality. What if is imagination? What if is storytelling? What if is distortion. And we do it all the time. We do it all the time to ourselves. We what if ourselves and we should ourselves to death. We've got to stop shoulding ourselves. We totally need to stop shoulding ourselves. It's time to live in reality. It's time to live in the presence. It's time to take that if and turn it into an is. What is in my power? Because when fear is faced, fear falters. When you address your fears, they falter. Fear is a coward. So it's time to say, what is? What is my goal? Where am I heading? What is in my power to do? I'm going to leave you with this story. As the sun turned a cold, dark world into a world full of hope, we were halfway up the face. And what we didn't know, what we couldn't see because it was so dark, was there was another group ahead of us. And as we progressed, we noticed that we were going a lot faster than them. And as we got closer, we noticed that this group was traveling in a very different way. And when we got really close, notice his feet. When we got really close, we noticed that instead of trekking poles, like you see here, instead of trekking poles, this group was using crutches and canes, and some even in wheelchairs. They were climbing the same mountain that I was climbing. And if you recall, I was taking one step and one breath. Step, breathe. Step, breathe. We had been climbing for over 7 hours. This group must have been climbing at least double that. And I sat down and I said, what in the world are you doing? You're on crutches. This is Kilimanjaro. What are you doing? And he shared with me his story. He said, when this happened to me, I said, what if I'll never walk again? What if I can't play basketball? What if I can't take care of my family? And he said these statements that felt so hopeless and so full of despair. And he said, one day I got sick of it. One day I got sick of it and I said, you know what? I may not be able to walk like everybody else, but I can walk. I may not be able to run, but I can walk. I may not be able to do the things that I was doing, but I can still do things. He said, I woke up one day and I asked myself, instead of saying, what can't I do? He said, what can I do? And we're sitting on this rock. And he points to the top of the mountain. And he says, I can do this. You have your mountain. It's time to climb. You can do this. Thank you.
Wow, was that good or what? Hey, do me a favor. I'm telling you, this presentation was phenomenal. Will you give Curtis another round of applause, please? Amazing. I got about 4 pages of notes.
Excellent.
And I plan on using some of your stuff, okay?
Excellent.
All right.
Please
Hey,
do.
listen, guys, at this time we're going to have some Q&A, so we would love to entertain any questions for Curtis that you might have for him, okay? Any questions at all? Questions or even share some of your takeaways? Yes, ma'am, okay?
I go above and beyond all of my expectations. Like, what if the what ifs were great?
I love that. I love that. And that's a very valid question. So the reason that I didn't talk about the positive what ifs is because they don't come with fear. So if you're already in that mindset, fantastic. If your what ifs are saying, hey, what if I can conquer the world? Fantastic. This was specifically to show you how to change fear into power. And so taking those negative what if statements and turning them into empowering statements. Great question. Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Yes, sir.
The question is, what do we need to step? Thomas is giving us direction. Great. Here we go. What got me into helping other entrepreneurs? So in my first business, it was a full-service media agency. We did everything from logo and branding to heavy back-end database, radio, TV commercials, the whole gambit. And I made every single mistake possible. I really did. And several of them 2 and 3 times. I just kept going. I just like, hey, I didn't get this mistake down yet. I'm going to just do it a few more times. And I was with a friend. We were actually in Chicago at Giordano's Pizza, the big fat Chicago deep dish. And he was an entrepreneur too, and we were having this conversation. And he said, why doesn't everybody start a business? This is the best thing ever. Entrepreneurship is amazing. And I said, Greg, why did you start your business? And he said something that was so impactful to me, humorous but impactful. He said, I'm too lazy to do business the regular way. I had to figure out a better way to do it. And this switch in my brain clicked, and I said, there is a better way. And this was when I was making all the mistakes, and it was still exciting. It was still an amazing journey. But I said, I really want to help others not make those same mistakes. I want to be able to help others, instead of just traversing like this, really turn the needle up and create rapid growth companies.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Yes, sir.
Oh, such an important question. For everybody online, et cetera, the question was, do you set big, audacious goals, or do you break them down, or where do you start? You start with the big goal, just like we did. And then it's really important to reverse engineer that goal. So what does that mean every year? If I'm going to grow at this percentage, and actually in the book, it shows a formula and even gives a resource to be able to compare your growth rate or your anticipated growth rate to other companies in your industry. So you can go and say, oh, I'm in the high-tech industry, or I'm in the, you name it, there's a category for you that you can say, okay, this is the average growth rate. These are the highest or the fastest growing companies. This is their growth rate. Where do I want to be? And so, excellent question. Really key to achieving your goal is the reverse engineering all the way back to each year, and not just year, but how many products are sold, how many employees you're going to have, et cetera. That sheet that you were able to download, it kind of walks you through that a bit.
Okay, I just got the notification that we're out of time. All right, so hey guys, thank you guys so much. And again, one more time for Curtis, okay? Awesome job today. Thank you. Looking forward to the book. Yes, sir. All right. And if you haven't gotten that book, make sure you get it. I plan on walking out with my copy today. Without a doubt. All right. Hey, are we having a good time? Yes. Do you have some ACTs? Some things you're going to apply, some things you're going to change, and perhaps some things you're going to transfer as well. Okay? So real quickly, what we have next here today. All righty. Oh, I forgot to give Curtis his gift. Curtis, could you come back again, my friend? Right on. Okay. I was so caught up with everything, but here's your gift. Thank you so much, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks for being in Rome with us and adding so much value to our lives.
So happy
Yes,
to be
sir.
here.
Absolutely. Okay, very good. Okay, no. At this point in time, we're going to have a special presentation by the Rome City School. Miss Shana Patrick, I think it is. Okay, would you please come? Let's give her a hand as she comes. Okay, thank you. Good morning. Are you okay?
Good, yeah. Good morning. Thank you for having me. I am excited and I'm energized by being here in a room full of people, right? All together in person. It's awesome. I am tired of the virtual meetings. Are we all? I think it is only fitting that I obviously introduce myself. I'm Shanna Patrick. I'm with Rome City Schools. I am the work-based learning coordinator for Rome High School and our new college and career academy. I so enjoyed the presentation that was just given, and I think I am going to put my goal out there in the universe because I think that each one of you sitting in this room and on Zoom can help me and help our students to achieve that goal. So mine looks a little different because I am an educator. So my how much obviously is based on students, not dollars. So I would say my goal, I have about 75 students right now in my work-based learning program. I would say my goal would be about 200 students to actually be enrolled and accepted into my work-based learning program. I would say my win would be that by the 2022-2023 school year, so that's about 2 years. My what would be to celebrate the success of these students, the success of our community by having these students stay here within our community. And my why is to continue growth and stability for our community here in Rome. I know that looks a little different than most of goals for businesses, small businesses in the corporate world, but that would be mine. So they have asked me to come and just talk to you a little bit about our College and Career Academy. As some of you know, we've just opened the doors to our College and Career Academy in January of 2021. Opened the doors to students. We've been working a little over a year to actually get the building built and ready. So I'm just going to give you a few little notes and a few little facts about our College and Career Academy. It's a 165,000 square foot facility. We are right next to Rome High School, so it is a what we consider one school. It offers many opportunities to our students and community. We have 25 pathways currently, and we are growing to about 30 pathways next year. This will include manufacturing, automotive. We're adding a few more healthcare pathways, as well as culinary arts. When they started this, getting the College and Career Academy, the beginning stages, they really looked into the community to see what we needed to teach here to keep these students in our community. And that's where all of our pathways have grown from. We offer pathways all the way from public safety to law services, engineering. We have 4 healthcare pathways that we offer. So we do have a lot to offer these students. We have, when you come into our building, we do have a school store, which is a student enterprise, and it's run fully by our marketing pathway. We're open from 8 to 4 to the public. They have all kinds of fun Rome City gear, Rome gear, and like I said, that is a student enterprise that is run by our marketing pathway. We have a Floyd Medical Center right in front of our College and Career Academy that is opening in August. This will be open to our students, our staff, their families, and it will also be, we'll be providing our healthcare students to help in the daily operations of this Floyd Medical Center. Floyd has been such a huge partner for us. They hosted our teachers, students, and staff the vaccinations for all of our students, teachers, staffs. They've been a huge part of opening this CCA with their medical center there. We will start interviewing students to run that medical center here in the next few weeks, so it's been a really neat opportunity. Our students also, through my work-based learning program, we've got a food pantry that we actually feed our community and our students every Friday. We send home meals. So I know you hear me saying community, 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 but that's really, really what we strive to get our community involved in this College and Career Academy. Our work-based learning program, for those of you who don't know, is a program where our students in these career and technical programs have the opportunity to go out into our community and work in jobs associated with their pathways. It's ever-changing, obviously, with the needs of our community. We currently have 75 students working through jobs and internships. For next year, I have about 130 students that I've already accepted into the program. We are growing, and they are super excited about it, and I have been floored at the excitement of our community and our businesses who really want these students in their doors working for them. We have 1,900 students. I'm either going to bore you or really excite you with some numbers, okay? We have about 1,900 students at Rome High School currently. About 1,500 of them are enrolled in our College and Career Academy and the pathways that we offer. We have 7 career and technical student organizations, from DECA to FBLA to Skills USA. These are all organizations. They're not called clubs anymore. They're called organizations because the students really get involved in their skill and in their pathway where they can compete. They can have scholarship opportunities. It's a really neat opportunity for these kids. We have about 210 students who have earned industry certifications through finishing our pathways. Most of our pathways, at the end of them, it's 3 years because we are on a period system, which next year we're going to block. So students will have the opportunity to finish a pathway in about a year and a half. But most of our pathways, at the end of the pathway, they are going to get some type of certification. We have CNA certification, medical office assistant certification. So there are a lot of certifications that these students have the opportunity to get. We have students who are earning about 1,200 college credits through going through our programs. We have 285 students who are currently dual enrolled through our College and Career Academy. So not only are they earning high school credit, but as well as college credit. We have 30 college courses that are offered on our campus. And within our campus, we have about 31 certified educators who are not only educators, but they come from the industry. So most of our pathways are taught by industry leaders who once were in the industry and now have chosen to come into the classroom. I am excited about what our College and Career Academy offers. I'm excited about what our students can see and can do through our College and Career Academy. It is something that I'm super passionate about. I think there is so much opportunity for our students to be able to get hands-on experience and really get to be able to experience some of those careers that they may not have ever known about without these courses. If you have not been to the College and Career Academy yet, I would absolutely invite you to come out and see it. Each classroom has a classroom setting, has a lab setting. So not only are they working in the classroom, but they're also working in a lab. All of the labs are industry certified labs. And so it really is an awesome facility for our students and for our community. So thank you so much for letting me come and talk and brag a little bit about our College and Career Academy and our students. If you have any questions, let me know. I will be here. Thank you so much.
All right, exciting stuff. And I plan on making a visit to that academy, so awesome. Okay, very good. Let's go with what we have next on our program. So exciting. Again, hey, are you guys getting a lot